What's up, everyone? Happy Thursday to you. Hope your week is going well, and I hope you're getting ready for the weekend. What's exciting for you today? I hope you can share with me. You're tuning in today. We are going to be talking about what is intermittent fasting and why is it so beneficial. This is something that I've been looking at, I've been doing for quite some time, and many people in my practice are still practicing it. Some of you are quite familiar with it. And on today, I think it's important that we dive into it and talk about intermittent fasting. So, the idea of fasting, that means you're giving up something, right? We're going to be giving up eating at a certain period of time. Some people intermittent fast where they eat for a certain period of time, where they have 8 hours on, 16 hours off. They may do 12 hours on, 12 hours off, or they may do something like every other day. Nevertheless, intermittent fasting is so very powerful for our bodies. And what I want you to understand is as you think about intermittent fasting, fasting is one of the most potent ways we remove toxins from our body. When you think about fasting, I want you to realize this, that your body has fat. Now, how many of you have body fat? Well, if we want to burn some of that body fat, well, we need to go in and tap into those fat stores. When we tap into those fat stores, that's called lipolysis. Now, lipolysis helps you to mobilize the fat, soluble toxins stored in your fat, which is where most toxins are kept. So it's important to get rid of those toxins. How do we get rid of them? By sweating, by urinating, and having a bowel movement. So we want to get those out of our bodies. The idea behind this is how do we get our body to work more efficiently and more efficiently at burning fats? There's something called autophagy. Some people say autophagy, but autophagy is basically self-eating. This is the process in your body in which your body starts to digest its own damaged cells. So the cells that are no good, longer good, we want to get rid of those. And it's sort of a cleaning out process, right? Taking out the trash. We want to get rid of the things that is not helping our body be the best that it can possibly be. So when we think about autophagy, it's a way that our body is detoxifying the cells and it recycles parts of the cells that are no longer needed. It can also help destroy foreign invaders like bacteria, viruses, pathogens. It can also help with neurodegenerative processes such as Parkinson's disease. So when we think about what is happening, we want to do things that help us get rid of things in our body that are no longer serving us, right? So get rid of things that are no longer serving us. So when we think about intermittent fasting, what can it do? Well, it helps optimize brain function. Fasting has been shown to boost mood. It's been shown to improve memory. It's been shown to trigger new neurons and lower the risk of age-related decline. And then when we think about this, we get better sleep with fasting. There's also been shown evidence of having weight loss. Now, this is one of the things that really inspired a lot of my clients when we did a program that we still offer called Transform Your Metabolism. When we think about weight loss, people are like, we want something, sometimes we want a quick fix. And in all honesty, there is no quick fix. But when we think about in the long term, if we just can incorporate intermittent fasting in our daily life, it's going to be so very powerful because it does help burn the fat that we're trying to get rid of. I remember somebody saying, you know what, this is just baby fat. I had a baby and this is the baby fat. And then someone said, no, that's just fat, baby. So if we want to get rid of that fat, baby, what we want to do is really think about how can we optimize and burn our own internal fat. And intermittent fasting can help in that particular area. It also can help with improving gut health. It's an opportunity for our gut to sort of like slow down because many people, I would suggest when they're doing intermittent fasting that they try something a little bit differently. What do I mean by that? Perhaps you skip breakfast and you fast up until 10 a.m. and you eat at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m., right? And then, or you start at 11 a.m. and you stop eating at 7 p.m. or you start eating at 12 p.m. and stop eating at 8 p.m. But you have that 8 hours of eating and then 16 hours of fasting. That's an opportunity for the digestive system to really be optimized and work for it's at its best. And I like this because one of the things is you don't have to worry about what you're going to eat in the morning because that's not even an option, right? So it can be cost effective too to really incorporate intermittent fasting in there. It also can help you cardiovascularly, right? Fasting decreases visceral fat. There we go, visceral fat. Many of you today thought we were going to be talking about visceral fat, but if you missed that topic, we talked about it last week or the week before. So jump in there and watch that video because it's there talking about what is visceral fat and how we can reduce it. So on today, we know that we can reduce visceral fat with intermittent fasting. One of the things that comes up a lot is this idea of insulin, right? Insulin resistance. Well, when we eat various foods, right? the blood sugar goes up, insulin is released and causes the glucose to go inside the cell to give us energy. Well, when we have insulin resistance, we require more insulin on board. So that insulin is the primary hormone on board that says, hey, we're going to use this glucose for this, or we need to store it because we want to get rid of some things, right? So it's the idea of when you eat a lot of carbs, you want to make sure that insulin kicks in and just says, okay, what are we going to do with this? We don't want that blood glucose level to increase too much. Insulin resistance also is a precursor to diabetes. So we really want to get a handle on controlling that insulin level. And your fasting insulin level is so important. So when we're looking at your insulin, we're looking at your blood glucose levels. And if they're high fasting, when we look at your blood work, that could be a telltale sign of having issues related to insulin resistance. So high insulin levels are something we want to combat. And one of the ways we combat that is with intermittent fasting. Now, other things that help reduce intermittent fasting is it helps to lower, we said insulin, it helps to lower glucose, but it's also, when we think about the receptors, we want to make certain that our receptors to insulin are sensitive so that they're responding accordingly. Sometimes the receptors are insensitive, so it's requiring more and more insulin on board to get the desired results. So intermittent fasting can help us sensitize our insulin receptors, right? Believe it or not, with intermittent fasting, what can happen is you can have increased energy. I know it seems like counterintuitive, like, well, if I don't eat, I'm going to have more energy. How does that work? Well, you're getting your digestive system to be optimized. You're working on getting rid of those cells that aren't the best, those damaged cells. So that's where that autophagy kicks in, right? That self-eating, like, get rid of this. And so when we get our body optimized in such a way, then we know that we get more energy. Increasing our energy is definitely a benefit of intermittent fasting. And then we have stem cell production. That's another benefit of intermittent fasting. So if you want to really work on, people are looking into stem cells and stem cell enhancement. Well, intermittent fasting can definitely help in this area. And then last but not least, as I think about this, I want you to understand that when you intermittent fast, what's one of the benefits? Well, a lot of people in my practice are into anti-aging, right? So you want to slow down the aging process. Hear me and hear me well. Consider fasting. Fasting is something that's so very powerful. Like I said, there's different ways to do intermittent fasting. Perhaps you don't do it every day. Maybe you pick 3 days out of the week that you do intermittent fasting, right? Or perhaps you say, you know what, I'm all in, I'm doing 7 days a week. Go for it. Or you may say, I'm doing 5 days of intermittent fasting, and then on Saturday and Sunday, I'm just going to eat at regular times. But if you can take the time to incorporate intermittent fasting into your daily routine, you will definitely have some long-term benefits. And I want you to understand, you don't have to do it by yourself. And many of you, believe it or not, are already doing it. So many people skip breakfast. They're too busy. They woke up late. They're in a rush. Whatever the case may be, it may be that, I don't eat breakfast anyway, so it's not a big deal. So before you get all closed mind behind it, I want you to stop and think, are you already doing some intermittent fasting? You may already be doing some intermittent fasting. Why? Because you're probably already skipping breakfast. Remember, breakfast is just a break from a fast. So you're just not breaking that fast until lunchtime. I hope you have gathered some information today that you can really take home and use, because you don't have to work on you. You get to work on you. So I hope you incorporate intermittent fasting into your daily routine. Until the next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.